This is an official meeting of the Livingston Parish Council, today being Thursday, September the 24th. September 14th, 2023, the year of our Lord. 6 o'clock p.m. in the Livingston Parish Council chambers. Let's call this meeting to order, and let's start off with an invocation. Mr. DeLatte had this, but he's not here, so I think Mr. McMorris is going to have the honors today. Is that well? Would you do that for us, please?
That's right. So I'll tell you a story real quick. So last night at church, we learned about prayer, right? So learned why do we pray. So you guys are doing a good job representing all of us. Dear God, thank you for the people that's here to represent Livingston Parish. Thank you for the councilman. Thank you for all the people that's running for office, Lord, that you'll put a blessing upon their heart. District 8, District 6, pray that you'll just give them the honor and the God, we give you the praise for everything that we have in life. And we appreciate it.
Amen. Amen. Mr. Girlinghouse, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all so much for coming out this evening. Joe, you might want to power the mic up if you, or grab it. You also check your cell phones just to make sure we don't get any too bad interruptions. If through the course of tonight's meeting, there will be public input. If someone has something you'd like to say, please raise your hand and I'll call on you. You can come to the podium, try to keep it within 2 or 3 minutes. And if someone else has something to say, try not to repeat it. First item on the agenda, or next coming up, would be presentations. I'm sorry, let's call the roll. Make sure we have a quorum here tonight. Yes. Go ahead.
Mr. McMorris?
Here.
Mr. King is absent. Mr. Girlinghouse?
Here.
Mr. Wascom?
Here.
Mr. Ard?
Here.
Mr. Mack?
Here.
Ms. Sandifer? Here. Mr. DeLatte is absent. Mr. Talbert is absent.
Caroline, yes. Go ahead,
A lot of stuff that they go.
Is it the DM or? Okay. All right.
You can go ahead, I'll do it.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and call Mr. Roger Wilder up to the microphone. I believe Mr. Roger Wilder is a candidate for Louisiana State Senate, District 70.
House Representative.
Not the
Thank
Senate,
you.
the House.
State Representative.
There you go. Yes, sir.
Please give us your name and tell the parish why we should vote for you, Mr.
All right,
Roger.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the time tonight. Council members, thank you, and residents, thank you as well. My name is Roger Wilder. I am a candidate for District 71 for State Representative. I've been a resident of Livingston Parish for more than half my life. I have a wife of 22 years. I have 3 children, and I am a local entrepreneur. My business is Smoothie King. I have the 4 locations in Livingston Parish, as well as 15 other locations, 19 total, including 4 in Mississippi. So I guess I'll get to it. I decided to jump into the political sphere when 2020, obviously, we don't have to refer to what, this pandemic. I had, like I mentioned earlier, had 4 stores in Mississippi. So anytime I would go to Mississippi to visit our locations, I'd shiver when I had to cross the Pearl River coming back thinking, great, I'm leaving freedom to come back to lockdowns and business shutdowns and mandates. So it kind of riled me up a little bit and made me start thinking about somebody needs to stand for our Constitution. And it wasn't being done, in my opinion. So fast forward a little further than that, there are a number of things in this woke agenda over the last year and a half, 2 years that have really bothered me. I have a daughter, and I don't believe it's good to just sit back and let the agenda that's at play tear away the fabric of our Judeo-Christian society. It's a deliberate attack on the nuclear family, rule of law, education system. Anything that's considered to be normal Western culture is under attack right now. So These things motivated me. I mean, when Firehouse Barbecue up in Watson was shut down or attempted to be shut down, when the Attorney General got involved, it really motivated me to think, okay, well, there are some people that'll stand for our Constitution. So fast forward, a lot of thinking went on, and the seat became open, and my family was like, you know, Dad, you're the one that always sits back and says somebody in business should jump into the game. So I did some research, and I got involved, and the more I dug and dug and dug, it became obvious that I think I could contribute. I've been a member of the parish as a resident, but as a business owner, and I do a lot of work between the parks, the schools, churches. Not to say pat myself on the back, but I've been able to get across the parish through my business and meet a lot of people and kind of understand the vibe. So I've served our parish in a business sense, and I want to serve on a higher level. We have a great state. We have a lot to offer, but right now our state is not very open for business. We're one of the few states down here. Kids are moving to Texas or Tennessee or Florida because they have no state income tax. They have better industry. They have lower insurance rates, which is killing everybody right now. No matter if you're a truck driver, if you're a small business owner, or you're a homeowner, insurance is ridiculous. Our state's not attractive. If our state was attractive, we would be top in education, and part of education is paying our teachers. That sounds convenient, but we busted a $2 billion spending cap in our state budget and found no money for our educators, who we all speak of holding in such a high regard. We need to fix that. So on a state level, I think there's a number of things we could work to get better and keep our kids in the state. I have a 10-year-old coming back from a ball tournament in July, said, Daddy, why is our state so dirty? And that's through the eyes of a 10-year-old who is innocent, asking an honest question. Locally, I know District 71 encompasses parish districts 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, if I'm not mistaken. I believe all 5 of those districts touch the state District 71, that represents about 45,000 people. Obviously, working from a state level, there's fiduciary. We're all trying to get money to bring home and whatnot. So one of the goals that I've got set for that is I've been working towards talking to a lot of the representatives that are running unopposed across the state. I've made contact with 24, if not more, just trying to build a coalition. Obviously, any candidate that is running for a race is expecting him or herself to win. So I say it with humility that I expect to win, but if I expect to win, I might as well start working now. So locally, back to the local part of how I think our job as a representative would work. Again, luckily, my entire district is in Livingston Parish. I consider that a blessing because I don't have to worry about any other parishes, and I'm going to use that blessing. But I've been knocking on doors a lot lately, and I'm enjoying it because it validates the reasons that I'm doing this. But there are 2 main issues in our parish. Anybody watching this, anybody behind me, any of you are going to know exactly where I'm going with this. Before I say it, though, everybody I speak to, knocking on doors, talking to, seeing in places, it's amazing because now they're a lot more vocal than they were before. I was the one griping before, and everybody's telling me what they believe. It's just a little bit of a mismatch. Right now, in our parish over the last decade, development has been here and infrastructure has been here. We just need to shift that. Because if this pace we're going, we're outgrowing our infrastructure. I don't know if anybody here remembers, but I do. 2 years ago, we got really cold in the wintertime. Well, 2018, we had like a 6-day frozen spell. But it took 3 years later, we finally got an update from WBRZ or WAFB that said, conserve your gas. So it's freezing cold, and we're now told to turn off our lanterns and turn on, the porch lanterns if they use natural gas. That pipe's only so big. So I bring that up because I don't want to see us, we have to balance it. Some of that's going to be funding, which I would work towards, obviously trying to attain for the area. But those 2 issues are traffic and drainage. Traffic, get up and go to work in the morning. You'll see what we're talking about. I think we all know. I live on 4-H Club Road. I strategically leave my house at weird hours to avoid the traffic. So if I have the opportunity to serve as a state rep, I'd like to work towards some infrastructure improvements on traffic. There's a lot going on right now. Our reps that are in there have done some work. I met with Fort and Tablada. There's a lot in progress, and as you know, if something starts, it takes 4 or 5 years before you see anything. So there are things coming, but I didn't see any plans for interstate exits at 4-H Club. I'd love to work for that really hard. Widening 4-H Club, overlaying some of the roads that are just in horrible condition. But drainage is the big one. Huge. All I hear, I never thought I'd hear so much, and it's not in one precinct. I was in the last 6, 7 days, I was at the end of Plantation Avenue, last house. I talked to the gentleman today, complaining about how do I get the water out of here. And he's asking me, and I'm like genuinely wanting to help. And I'm like, I really don't know. You would think gravity would take it out, but that's not working right now. Up on Trace Lane in Walker, 35A precinct, north of Florida Boulevard. This man takes me, come see my backyard. I'm spending 10 grand on rocks to keep my yard from falling into the servitude. Carter Hills, the back of Carter Hills, I ran into a couple door knocking that brought me in the backyard and said a few of y'all have been there. They've got holes. I don't want to go on too long about it. You understand that everybody's mad about drainage. They're upset. They're frustrated. Let me finish up. I would like to look forward to serving as a District 71 state representative, and if I can, privileged enough to do that, I'd like to ask that, and this is on behalf of me as a citizen. The citizens are upset. They want to see 9 people working together for a common cause. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to do that. So whoever's reelected or fills the 9 seats here, and then obviously we'll have a new parish president, I implore you on behalf of the people whose doors I'm knocking on across multiple precincts, multiple districts, please, 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 let's work together. So I'll wrap it up as a citizen right there, but say again, I'm Roger Wilder. I'm running for state representative for District 71. I have a website, rogerwilder.com. Thank you for your consideration. Allow me to speak tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Roger, thank you so
Thank you,
much
Roger.
for coming. Thank you so much. It was very good. Item 7B was a discussion of proposed resolution. I don't know if anyone is here tonight on behalf of this. Is someone here? Okay, I believe we're going to pick this. Come on to the podium if you want to. Give us your name and address. But I think we're going to pick this up again next week at a next council meeting for a resolution. Am I correct?
Correct. There's a TEFRA hearing that we're having on the 19th.
A public hearing, you say?
We're TEFRA hearing that's more of a formality. So my name is Bridget Homer. I'm with the Capital Area Finance Authority. And what we do is provide down payment assistance to those borrowers who need help, who might not be able to be a homeowner without it. In 2014, y'all entered into a trust indenture with us that encompassed the capital area. And now what we're asking for with the resolution is to, because the market is so volatile and interest rates are going up, it's a little bit harder for us to produce a solid rate. So by issuing a bond, we'll be able to combat that, but we cannot do that without having a resolution.
Okay, and I believe I think we're reaching out to our financial advisor as well. So we'll probably have that resolution put together for the next council meeting.
Okay,
And I believe it's not ready for today, it's my understanding, so.
got you. So would you need me to
Can you
attend
reach back with our
again?
council clerk before the next council meeting?
I can.
And confirm that the resolution's ready to go, if you don't mind?
Perfect. Sounds great.
Is
Thank
that
you.
okay with
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Deline? Okay, since you put on.
All right.
All right, thank you so much. Next item is, real quick, the adoption of minutes for August the 10th. 2023, Ms. Sandy, those work completed?
So moved.
Got email for both of them.
Second.
How about the August 24th? Let's do them both at the same time, if
So
that's
moved.
okay.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Delat, seconded by Mr. Girlinghouse. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Abstain.
Okay,
I wasn't here.
okay. Any opposed? Okay. Mr. Delat made the motion, Mr. Girlinghouse made the second, and Ms. Sandifer abstained, I believe. All right, vote again, everyone, please, on your iPads. All right, we done there? Passed 6-0 with 1 abstain. Item number 9, we're going to pick up addendum item A1 real quick. This is adopt a resolution to authorize the Livingston Parish Grants Department to pursue using ARPA funds for a detention pond to serve Coyote Creek. The Honorable Mr. Mark Harrell. Would you give us the update, please, on this resolution
Chairman,
and what you
Council.
need from this council?
This is funding that was set aside several years ago with ARPA, and it's taken this long to get the Corps of Engineers to make a decision on what we could do. This property is some of the Gary Lewis property that was donated to the airport, and by buying the mitigation, it will allow them to build several retention ponds that should, after phase 2, be up to around 40 acres. and it will serve Coyell Creek and mainly downstream from Coyell.
So it'll
Correct.
basically catch the water before it gets to the
Right.
canals and creeks, hold it back, give the canals and creeks time to drain, and then slowly release that at a
Yes,
drier
sir.
time.
And it's gonna be a dry,
A dry
pond.
retention pond.
Yeah, and it'll catch the water and ease it out a little bit slower than normal.
I think that's fantastic. Is there a
Middle Coy-
resolution?
Is
or
that a
did you
middle
want-
Coyell?
Sir?
Middle Coyell Creek?
It's Coyell.
Coyell, all right, motion.
Motion by Mr. Girlinghouse, second by Mr. Mack. Is there any more discussion on that? None being, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right, and any opposed? That motion, I believe, passed with 7 yeas and 2 abstain. That was, who abstained?
Two absence.
I'm sorry, absent, okay. Not used to
Thank
not
you.
having a full quorum. I hope, before you leave,
Okay.
Mr. Harold, I'd like to pick up another couple items on the agenda.
Okay?
Item 21, discuss dredging status of the Ament River, Blind River, Dutch Bayou. This, I think Mr. Randy put this on the agenda.
Yes.
Did you have any questions, or do you want to just?
Yeah, what's the status?
Okay, as of now, Dutch Creek, Dutch Bayou is complete. They've moved into Blind River. And in Dutch Bayou alone, we removed over 100 cubic yards of vegetative debris, woody debris, and 40,000 cubic yards of river silt has been pumped onto the parish land.
Fantastic.
2 more questions.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, what about the length of the dredging? They moved into Blind River, then you can probably Ament River next. Do we think this is going to be completed this year, or is going to?
It's supposed to be, yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, they have a hydraulic pump delivered. They just can't use it because of all the woody debris. It clogs up constantly. So they're having to use a long arm excavator, put it in a hopper, remove all the woody debris, and then pump it. We're hoping once they get around to Ament River, it won't have as much woody debris, but we don't know.
Right. Okay. You think they may try to bring the dredge apparatus to Ament River, or are they just going to try with the drag line?
They're gonna bring everything.
bring both.
As they
They're gonna
go,
bring
they're
them
gonna
both.
move everything
Okay.
with them, so if they start getting less woody debris, they're gonna try to pump. They gain so much from pumping.
Correct. Okay, and I just want to make sure, I had met with Fort and Tablada. The status, because of the way it was permitted, and I also met with ELOS, the way it was permitted, and I think it's permitted for navigable waters. So that means that it's only a certain areas, they're not able to go way up into the river. They're only able to go around the mouths, is what I was told.
Correct. They
So-
make us channelize it and,
Yes.
Stay there.
Yeah.
It took us almost 2 years negotiate with all the state and federal agencies and Indian tribes to finally get permits to move forward with this. It was an ordeal. We had set it up for one, set it up to do one major permit. Then they managed to do 2 permits, and then when it was all over, they combined everything again. So
All right.
we're moving forward. It's slow, I'm just gonna tell you, but it's so much woody debris.
Okay. Did you have another question?
No,
Randy?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, we had someone in the audience want to ask you, do you mind stepping aside? I think somebody might have a question about this, Mark, I don't want you to leave.
Hi, Bobette Larkey, 17850 M. Guitro Lane, Livingston, Louisiana.
Hey, Ms. Bobette.
Excuse me?
Hello.
Hi. I'm here basically representing some of the constituents of District 8. Well, I guess all over the parish. I was first called by some fishermen and some camp owners on Blind River because they were concerned about the dredging. They were under the assumption that the mouth of Dutch Bayou and the mouth of Blind River were going to be dredged so that they could navigate through there. One of them told me that he went out there, they were nowhere near the mouths of the river, that they were actually dredging in St. James Parish when it came out of Dutch Bayou. Instead of straight, they had gone to the right. I had not seen a map at this time, so I didn't know what to tell the guy, okay? So I just said, I'm gonna go check on it and see what's going on. And he told me, he said, well, the mouth of Blind River, they're way, way out in the lake. They're not anywhere near the mouth. And he said in low water, we went out there, and my fish finder said that it was 2 feet deep, and I was kicking up mud.
At Blind River?
At Blind River, yes, sir.
Okay.
And so I went out there and I checked. Well, sure enough, they were. That's exactly what they had done. They had come out of Dutch Bayou, and instead of going straight through the pass where the silting is all taking place, they had gone to the right into St. James Parish and came back around out into Lake Maurepas. In Blind River, they were nowhere near the mouth. They were way out by the first and second buoys and off to the right side, not even in the mouth of the river. So I came home and I found some maps because they told me they thought they were digging a pipeline. I said, well, I hadn't heard anything about a pipeline. I think this is supposed to be dredging. So when I went out there, they were getting debris with the long thing like Mr. Harrell said. And they were pumping mud, or I saw the pipes where they were pumping mud, so we couldn't really get to where they were actually pumping the mud. So I didn't see that. So I came home and I looked at the maps, and yes, that is exactly what the maps say that where they're supposed to be at. But the concerns of the citizens are that they cannot navigate the mouth of Blind River and they cannot navigate the mouth of Dutch Bayou even after the dredging's going on. So they want to know where are their tax dollars being spent. So, and that it's a waste of money. So I asked for a public records request because I told the people that I would. And Ms. Mary called me back and she said, just to get the money that was spent, because I asked for I wanted money spent and money that was allotted to be spent. 1,500 pages, $750. So I said, well, I can't afford to pay $750 just to find out how much money has been spent and how much money is going to be spent. So then I decided to call, when you're a teacher, I'm a retired teacher, you taught students of all, they all have different jobs. So I found one that knew somebody that was a hydrologist. So I called him and I asked him, I said, well, tell me what's going on here. Tell me what I should say. And he's like, well, Miss Bobette, he said, it goes back to Newton's law. He said, Newton's law says that if something's flowing or moving in a straight line, it's not going to stop unless it meets a force. He said, well, the force it's meeting is the trillions of gallons of water in the lake. He said, and what happens is, as the water flows, it drops out first the rocks and the pebbles. Then as it goes a little further, it drops out sand, and then a little further, it drops out silt. And he said, that's why in the mouth of Mississippi River, they have dredging going on constantly, or the barges could not get up and down the rivers. And he said, the mouths of the rivers here to keep them open, and so water will flow efficiently, and also so you can navigate, they will have to continuously dredge the rivers every few years.
Which is what we're doing now, correct?
No, you're not in the mouth of the river at all. I have maps here that shows where you're at. And the people are very upset.
I know, I mean, real quick, I have a depth finder on my boat, and I run out Blind River all the time. And it's real deep right at the mouth. And then as you get out just a little piece into the lake, it comes up to like 5 feet.
It was 2 feet when the water was
before
low.
They started dredging now, and they're dredging at that narrow spot if I'm not mistaken.
No, they're not. I went out there. As a matter of fact, I took some people with me out there and looked at it. And that's not where they're dredging. And according to this map, there's no plans to dredge there. So I'm just looking for some answers for the people.
Well, and the purpose of dredging is to allow that water to get out quicker.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's really it's two things. One, it's a coastal restoration, but that's what you have to call it, but we're actually using it for a flood control to get the water out of Livingston Parish into Maurepas so we can
Have you looked at this map?
I have not.
Okay, it might be a good idea to look at it.
I just figured the engineers knew better.
And so did I. I
more about
figured
it
the
than I
same
do.
thing till these people out there started calling me with complaints. And I called my councilman and told him, which is Mr. Delat,
Well, maybe
that
we
the
can,
people are highly upset. And it's not just people in District 8, it's people all over this parish that own camps down there.
maybe instead of stopping this project right now, this multi-million-dollar project, maybe we could just pause this and go take a look at what's going on. Maybe we get some questions answered.
Well, that's what the people want to know, where their money's going.
I mean, you know, we might could get some of the questions answered, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
before-
just here to get
you
answers.
know,
I'm not
then we
blaming
just pull-
anyone
then
or
you
anything. I
pull
just need
these-
answers.
Pull these crews off and stop this big project that we've got going that's
Right.
supposedly improving the flooding in this parish.
Right. And if there's coastal restoration, couldn't they dig the mud from anywhere they basically, you know, you wanted to do the permits for? Why didn't we do the permits for where it needed to be done? And I realize this is a 3-year-old map because it takes that long for the Army Corps of Engineers to approve something. And since then, we've had Ida, but I'm on that river all the time, and I know how low it is.
I think your questions might be more suited to the engineer that actually is working on this project, is what I'm thinking. I mean, I don't know.
Let me say a few words, John.
All right, Mr. Lack, go ahead.
When I met with Ford and Tablada yesterday, they told me we started off, you know, to do a dredging project. Then we got to what it was called coastal restoration. Well, now our permitting is called for navigable. Is that right, Mr. Moore? Navigable waters. So being as navigable waters, it's a little bit different than what the map is that you're looking at now. And the one that did this was the Army Corps of Engineers, is what I was told. Yes, it drifts off away from the mouth. I was told there's a third-party auditor that's going to get them back on point again. And in addition to that, Ford and Tablada would also audit the third party, and that's what I was told. But they are off a little bit in Dutch Bayou, but they're not going as far up in Dutch Bayou as what the original map shows, and that's why they're off to the side because of the flow. The Army Corps still is not going to let, these is all protected waterways. They call them scenic waterways. So that takes legislations to remove the scenic designation from them, and that's why we got to play with words and do different things. I was told one of the best tools we got there is the barge with the crane on it, and the mud with the barges on it, because it's heavy and it sinks in the mud, and it's making us a navigable channel way through there now. That the Corps can't just say where it's outside of this line. He's traveling up and down the river, and we're not dredging that, but it's dropping the level about 5 or 6 feet, they said, because of the board sinking down and taking the muck out. So those are things that's not going to be paid for by the ton or however cubic foot or however they charge. Those things not, but that board is giving us a direct benefit for navigable water, and also for the for flood protection, because it's bringing the level of the water down. The reason it's just 2 foot right now, y'all, the water has been low for so long. You know, we hadn't had rain or not. Now we had a little wind that came in, and the water's starting to come up a little bit now. So, but another thing they told me is that they are running a little bit behind, but we do have liquidated damages that they're gonna have to be responsible for. So I don't think that we're going to get as much as we originally thought we was going to get, but I think we're pretty close to it. I think just everything is not in place now to finish. I believe they probably got them, based on what Mr. Mark just said and what I heard yesterday, they probably got at least another month down there working. And when they get to the Amite River, I believe that's going to be more cut and dry, the way that the Corps permitted that. And I think you're going to see more done. And that's really where our flood protection's got to come in that Amite River. That's really where it's got to be. You know, we're not getting much there on Dutch Bayou at all for flood protection. That's just for navigable waters anyway. So.
Mr. McMorris.
Well, I asked-
did you have a question, Mr. McMorris?
I don't have a question, I got a comment.
Okay, well, now's your chance.
So if you guys need the map that she's got, I have it. All right, I'm like Randy, we went and researched, got the maps from the engineers. So if you need it.
Which engineers did you get these maps from?
Ford and Tablada.
Ford and Tablada? Or so they did the engineering on this whole dredging project, Mark?
The whole
Okay.
project. So
Okay.
if you go back to where, before I was even on the council, we was talking about this same deal with Amite River, right? So just want to let Bobette know where they're going right now is the original net where we travel to get in. You got to go out.
Out Blind River?
Out Blind River, go out, come back around, and we'd like to see it go. It's come out and go straight into Dutch Bayou, but it's a little bit different from what we're doing. So we'll get a better understanding here shortly
Yeah.
of how we can get that fixed for it, Bob, yeah. And, I know myself, Randy, and everybody else that's on this council, we want to make sure the people's happy down there also, to make this happen. Haymitt River is really our big one, to make sure
And-
it's safe for the people to get in and out of there also.
That's one thing the hydrologist told me when we were talking about the Amite River, and he said that the weir at the diversion canal is acting the same way. It's a force. It's stopping the water. He said if you look on the other side of the weir, there is going to be sediment, and it's stopping the water from flowing. So until something's done with that weir, you can't count on the Amite River as a way to get water out of this parish.
Okay,
And as I said, I'm just asking these questions because I've been asked these questions, and the citizens are watching, and I guess when you're finished, they'll see if they're satisfied or not, and if their money was spent well. And that's all I can say. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you, Bob.
Bobette. Mr. Harold, did you want to make some last comments here on this to give us some information here?
Yes, sir, I'll make a few comments. It is going to be a blessing in the end, what we're doing down there. Everybody that travels it hangs up in the mud. It's bad. So it is a coastal restoration project. Just keep that in mind. That's what the funding is for. The benefits is going to be to help navigation. And by doing so, we're going to be allowed to put piling down with markers so you'll know where to go. You won't swing off to the left or the right, hit a stump, or hang up in the mud. So it's going to be a very beneficial project when it's over.
For navigation?
Yeah, and
Wouldn't
you know,
another-
we started off
Uh-huh.
wanting to dredge certain things, and when you start meeting with every state agency, I mean, you just wouldn't believe the state agencies that come out. Indian tribes, Corps of Engineers, Coast Guard. The Coast Guard was the best ones to work with. But they dictate what you can and can't do. It's not our water bottoms. By law, it is a state water bottom. So they have to dictate what you can do. So is it what we originally wanted? No. Will it work? Absolutely.
Well, I mean, anytime you can dig deeper, you're allowing more water to get out as well, aren't you? I mean,
Well, I mean, think about it. We've already removed 40,000 cubic yards. Now, if we didn't take it out of Dutch Bayou, where is it going to end as soon as you clear out Blind River? Everything off of Dutch Bayou is going to set right in the middle of Blind River. So we're trying to eliminate
so it
that. Is it going to fill up again? Absolutely. Just like the Mississippi River. It's a steady process.
Yeah.
It's just the first time we're able to do it.
all right.
Anything
Thank you
else
for that
on that?
information. We have another item, Mr. DeLapp. Did you
Yeah, I
have?
got one more question for Mr. Martin, real
Okay,
quick.
go ahead.
So I went back and did some research on my family tree on the AI tribe we was looking for. We still ain't found it, where they saying they was buried up underneath that side where the Kemps are. So I still like to get that information from the state or whoever, if you don't mind, Mr. Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
You have any more questions, Mr. DeLapp? All right, Mr. Harrell, if you don't mind, we got one more item I'd like for you to have your input on. Item 22.
Mr. Chairman, I had a meeting scheduled. I actually had to cancel it this week, and I got it rescheduled for next week. I'm okay with pulling it off unless someone's got a
Item
comment.
22, would like to pull that from the
Unless
agenda?
someone's got a comment.
Hey, you're the one put it. If you pull it, that's
Yeah,
good.
I
Mr.
got it.
Harrell, I don't think we have any more questions for you.
y'all.
Thank you for that
Appreciate it.
information so much. I didn't, the beautiful Miss Caroline reminded me that I skipped item number 9, Parish President's Report. Mark, do you have anything to say about to adopt a resolution to make September the 18th through 24th, 2023 National Rail Day? Or you probably don't care about that too much.
Probably just said it.
Miss Sandy, do you need to read this resolution?
Not real long. It's a proclamation to proclaim that National Rail Safety Week is to be held across the United States from September 18th to the 24th, 2023. Whereas 2,194 rail grade crossing collisions resulted in 803 personal injuries and responsible for 274 fatalities in the United States during 2022. And whereas 1,208 pedestrian trespassing casualties have occurred in the United States, resulting in 658 pedestrians being killed and another 550 injured, while trespassing on the railroad property rights of way during 2022, and whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railroad right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways, and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities, sorry.
That's quite all right. I've made a few mistakes.
Injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas the International Association of Chiefs of Police, National Operation Lifesaver, United States Department of Transportation, and all local, state, county, and railroad law enforcement officers, first responders, and railroad corporations commit to partnering together in an effort to educate at a national level all aspects of railroad safety to enforce applicable laws in support of National Rail Safety Week.
All right, is there a motion to adopt that?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Grillinghouse. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Mack. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? That motion carries, I do believe, 7. So y'all, let's be careful when, look both ways when crossing a railroad track. Pardon? Okay.
My mouth is not working.
Item 10, adopt a resolution to merge precincts 5C to 40A and to merge 28B to 28. It also says to split, but I don't think we're ready to split the precincts yet. Is anyone here from Mr. Jared's office to discuss this, or just, I'll explain the best I
Just
can?
need a motion.
What happens is, real quick, if you have not enough voters in a precinct, I think law requires you to merge precincts if they have, what's this, Sandy, if you have under 200?
It's, if you have over 2,200.
You have to split, but if it's under
300.
under 300, you have to merge. So, but we're not doing merging right now. We just need a resolution.
So
We're not
made.
doing splitting. So
Motion.
a motion to merge 5C to 40A and 28B to 28. We got a motion by Mr.
Second.
Gillette, seconded by Ms. Sandifer. Any discussion on this item? None being, let's call for the vote. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? That motion carries. 7 with 2 absent. Let's go to item 11, public hearing adoption of LP ordinance 23. Ms. Sandy, you want to read by title?
Yes. This will be, is for proposed ordinance number 23-31. It's an ordinance to acquire movable property for the parish of Livingston pursuant to the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program project number FEMA-4277-DR-LA-0131- Livingston Parish. The homeowner is Brandy Gotro, and the address is 8800 Evening Shadow Drive in Denham Springs.
This ordinance has already been introduced last time. It's
Motion.
in Ms. Sandifer's district. We're required by law to hold a public hearing. Is anyone here to speak for or against this ordinance? None being, I'll hereby close the public hearing, and Ms. Sandifer, it's in your district. Is that a motion to adopt
Motion.
the ordinance by Ms.
So
Sandifer?
moved.
Seconded by Mr. Delat. Any more discussion from the council? None being, let's call for the vote.
Mr. McMorris?
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Sandifer?
Yes.
Mr. Delat?
Yes.
All right, let's pick up addendum item A2 since we are talking about Ms. Sandifer right now. Adopt a resolution to grant a waiver of section 126-8 commercial development buffer zones. This is to waive the fence requirement for precision K9 shaping located at 20681 Louisiana Highway 16, Denham Springs. Ms. Sandifer, you're familiar with this?
Yes, I went and saw it. I have 2 letter of no objections from property owners on both sides. The fence, this does deserve a waiver. This is the epitome of a waiver right here for a
That's good.
fence.
Is that a motion?
Second.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Sandifer, second by Mr. Zalat. Is anyone here for or against this? None being, all in favor say yes.
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 Pardon?
You open and close the public hearing?
It's a resolution. That's okay, Sandy. Finally, I'm ahead of you one time. Let's call for the vote when y'all get a chance. Or just, all in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Tell me when we can move forward there. Sandy, that's the first time. That's the first time. All right,
We
go ahead
voting
and
or
vote
not?
on the iPad.
Yeah, I think you just go ahead and, that's A2, right? So we
That was A2,
Go ahead and vote.
yes.
Yep, all right.
All right. Item 12, public hearing adoption of LP ordinance 2332. This is, Ms. Sandy, you want to read this by title? This is for a servitude revocation quitclaim.
This is
You want to
the
read by
public
title?
hearing. Sorry about that.
Pardon?
This is the one for the public hearing. I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
Okay, so, yeah, so this is the public hearing.
Revoking the dedication and abandoning of a quitclaim in favor of the landowner, Anthony G. Fiducia, a 40-foot all-purpose access and utility servitude across certain tracts of land known as Lot AF 9, Lot AF 10, Lot AF 11, Lot AF 13G, Lot AF 13D, Lot AF 14A, Lot AF 14B, and Lot AF 14C, Section 24, Township 7, Section Range 3 East, Green Land District.
Yeah, this is in, I think
Mine.
Mr. McMorris's
So make
district.
a motion.
Make a motion by Mr.
Second.
Well, real quick, let's open it up for public hearing, because we introduced it the last meeting.
right.
Is anyone here to speak for or against this? None being, I'll close the public hearing and make a motion by Mr. Gerald McMorris to
Second.
adopt this ordinance, seconded by Mr. Delat.
Servitude revocation, yes.
And you can, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? And I believe that motion will carry. I got it, 7-0. All right, item B is adopt a resolution authorize a waiver of section 12537 minor subdivision to allow 6 lots on a servitude. This is again in Mr. Gerald McMorris's district.
So this goes hand in hand with the last one we just did, so I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
McMorris, seconded by Mr. Delat. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Item 13, the public hearing and adoption of LP ordinance 2333, extension of temporary 12-month moratorium. This was placed on the agenda by Mr. Shane Mack. We had the introduction at the last meeting. Ms. Sandy, you want to read by title?
Yes, sir. This will be an ordinance to provide for the extension of the temporary 12-month moratorium being LP ordinance number 22-45, adopted on September 8, 2022, in regard to the construction and drilling of Class 6 injection wells for wells specifically used for geologic sequestration of carbon dioxide in the parish of Livingston, including all waterways within the parish of Livingston. Said extension shall be for 120 days.
All right, this will be I hereby declare a public hearing open. Is anyone here to speak for or against this 12-month moratorium that we are imposing on Class 6 injection wells? Is anyone here against it
It's 100,
or for it? Then
120 days.
120 days. It's for 120 days, correct. Well, it says 12-month moratorium,
Extension, which is what we just got out of.
that we're extending for
Yeah.
120 days. That is correct, yes.
Make a motion, we go back in.
Motion, okay, motion,
We go back in regular session.
I was just going to
Okay, do
declare
it.
this in.
Okay, then
So
I'll make a motion, we accept it.
Adopt the ordinance
Adopt
by
it, yeah.
Mr.
Second.
Delat, second by Mr. Girlinghouse on this one.
That's fine with me.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, all in favor say yes?
Yes.
Thank you for clarifying that, Tracy, because I was
I just didn't want us to have to do it again in
Yeah,
2 weeks.
No, yeah, thank you so much
All
for
right.
clarifying that. Item 14, adopt a resolution to name an unnamed road, Old Cypress Lane, located off King George Bay Road, Livingston, Council District 8, Mr. Delat.
So move.
Motion to rename this road. Second by Mr. Jeff Ard, the 2 parish president candidates. Good job. Any discussion? None being all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 15, approve a third address variance for parcel 014246 consisting of 20 10-acre tracts located on Arthur Cleveland Road for Jeffrey and Dewana Cleveland. This is in Mr. Mack's district.
Yeah, that's correct. I'd like to make a motion that we grant this waiver. It's a big parcel of property, and it's for their daughter.
10 acres, 10
So-
acres.
so
all
make
right?
Give them
second.
another address. That's
Motion
correct.
by Mr.
That's
Mack,
correct.
seconded by Mr. Delat. Any discussion? None being, all in favor say yes.
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 All right. Item 16, approve a third address variance for parcel 0142406 consisting of 6 acres located off Church of God Road for James Ziegler. This is in Mr. Delat's.
James has one of his children living with him now, so I have to have a waiver for his second child to move a motorhome. And
That's what the purpose of a waiver is for. Motion by Mr. Delat, second by Mr. Gerald McMorris. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
That motion carries. Waiver request of section 125-3, restriction of use to place a mobile home in a named subdivision located in Wildwood subdivision. Can't pronounce the name. This is 29465 Karen Street. This is in Mr. Garlinghouse district.
This neighborhood has existing mobile homes in it, and hasn't been requested since we made the ordinance, so it's not on the list. So this will put it there. I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Garlinghouse.
I
Second by Mr. Ard. Any more discussion? None being all in favor say yes.
Yes.
That motion carried. Item 18, I believe, was Mr. Keene had put this on here, but he did ask, correct, Sandy, that he wanted to remove this, so this item will be removed. Item 19, adopt a resolution to authorize a waiver to subdivide in a named subdivision Vincent Acres for Colt Vaughn, located on Vincent Place Avenue. This is in Mr. Gerald McMorris's district.
Yeah, so, I made the motion to accept it.
All right, motion by Mr. McMorris,
So made.
second by Mr. Delat. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right, everybody vote.
Thank you, guys.
Apparently
That
just
motion
me.
carries. 19. Item 20, discuss complaints about trash debris at Dollar General, Mr. Delat, Highway 16.
Is anybody here to speak on it? Yes.
Okay, come on up. Give us your name and address and
The Dollar General.
tell us what you got here.
My name is Brenda Myers. My address is 7825 Curry Davis Road, Denham Springs. I have a flash drive of at least 75 pictures of the trash since March 1st, with the trash that keeps piling up at the Dollar General store right across the street from our house. We live on a one-lane road right off of Highway 16, and the trash blows in my yard. They're in open cart containers. The permit office has been out there a couple times, cited them on it, gave them 15 days to clean it up. They cleaned it up in 15 days, and they come back out, they look at it, 5 days later, it's back that way. This past week, there were 75 of those containers all out there. My husband's been incapacitated for the past 7 months, so I've had to work full-time and keep up my yard and picking up their trash. Something's got to be done.
Guys, what I propose to send it to the owner, citing our ordinances that they're in violation of, and telling them that there will be legal action taken pertaining to the ordinance that we cite if they don't continue to keep it clean. In other words, our ordinance does not allow the business to dump trash or let trash flow into a neighbor's yard, or to have containers on the side of the road that impedes traffic or any of those things. We have to make sure that they're abiding by all the laws. So I'm asking that we pass a resolution that they abide by all parish ordinances that pertain with them having their trash.
I would like to add to that comment, this is actually in my district. I have been there on numerous of times. They have continually violate the ordinances that we have. And so if that's okay with your motion, I think that's fantastic. But Mr. Chris, can you be a bulldog on this one and put some teeth in there and send some letters to Dollar General and say, look, we will stand for this no more. I mean, it's been enough. These people have put up with this for years. I know it is. So
I have one more comment, too.
I'll second it.
we have a motion by Mr. Delat and seconded by Mr. Shane Mack. Now, is there a comment?
Yeah, I would like to say, it seems it's been probably 4 or 5 years. Did we have this problem once before? Was it at the
I've been to
one?
Mr. Malcolm's house a bunch of times.
I was going to say that it was the one in my district on Florida.
No, I think it's,
it's the way they collect their
It's been so long ago.
trash.
But the same problem, trash right at the fence line, and and I thought we cracked the whip on them, and they.
it just comes
And
back.
look, if you don't, obviously we can't do it, but you know, we can ask a resolution to make sure it's done, so, or at least work on it, so, yeah.
Mr. McMorris?
So I'd like to make the motion also to add the inside of Coyell Dollar General, because it's a mess. You can ask all the people down there. So I
Chris,
don't know how they operate, Mr. Moody. Is this a franchise?
Yeah, would you send it to corporate?
corporate.
So
Okay.
that's what we need to do.
Send it to corporate, yeah.
Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, you have a process to follow in your weed trash ordinance, and they can be cited, they can, you know, process, you gotta give them notice, et cetera. So the administration typically takes that up. When they run out and they throw up their hands, we could file a lawsuit, rule them into court, you know, for it to have their business shut down. They take care of it. Hey, dollar stores all over have had this problem, and it's just a continuing problem.
And I agree, Mr. Moody, and the administration has been on top of it, but it's just time consuming every day. It's like, okay, we give them a certain amount of time to pick it up, but then as soon as they pick it up, it gets right back like it again. And administration just can't keep sending their inspectors over there every other day. They need to do something about it.
I do have one other comment. Yesterday, I noticed back at their retention pond, there was some trash there. So the retention pond has trash now going into it, and it's overgrown. And I don't know what the deal is on retention ponds and how that's going to impact any flooding, if any flooding should happen or whatever. But there is trash now going into the retention pond.
Could we accept your flash drive to put it on record that we have it, please?
Yeah, I mean, take it, and if you would, let's put that in Mr. Moody's hands, because he's gonna be the one that building the case here. So I'd recommend Mr. Moody take this, our legal team, I mean.
You can authorize me to file, you can authorize me to file.
Yeah, it's take a few minutes.
All right, thanks. You can authorize me to file a lawsuit if we can't get.
If you can't move out,
Let's start with a letter.
you wanna start with that, or what you wanna do?
Let's try with a letter first.
All right? Thank you, Ms. Myers.
Thank you.
Mr. Holden, did you wanna comment on this, or?
Wade Holden, 9160 Harris Road. I believe we have a code enforcement officer, but better yet, we got a sheriff's office. Wouldn't that be considered littering? Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good point.
Well, you actually have to find out who littered, you know.
Mr. Moody, did you wanna comment on that one, or?
No, he makes a point. Yeah, you have ordinances that are sometimes difficult to enforce, because there's not, you know, number one, we don't have enough code enforcement officers to police all the litter around the parish. And the sheriff's office, they're a little reluctant to do it, you know. But I'll be happy to look into this particular situation.
Thank you so much. So we had a motion and a second, right? Motion by Mr. Delat, second by Mr. Mack, I believe.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
You want to call for the vote? I mean, just all in favor say yes?
Yes.
Is there any opposed? That motion carries. Do me a favor, Mr. Myers, let us know, you know, just keep us abreast of it.
Mr. Moody, it'd probably take a couple weeks to get it going, the letter.
Get a letter out next week.
Yeah, okay.
Getting a response might take a couple weeks, so.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Sandy, what, I'm sorry, say
We're on
again?
23.
Okay, thank you.
I also think that, look, this isn't the first time, so you don't get a response and it's not picked up, immediately authorize the lawsuit.
Okay.
Because that'll talk a lot harder than a letter. But I understand you gotta get to that point, but I agree, just about every Dollar General I go to, it's like
I know, it's
just
bad.
let it get crazy.
Item 23, adopt a resolution to authorize a waiver for Ward 2 water for every single-use monopole cell tower for the purpose of reading meters to include traffic impact studies, drainage impact studies, school impact studies, fire impact studies, and wetland impact studies. This list, I believe, was submitted by Ward 2 Water, and it's my understanding that what they're doing is they're including automatic water meter reading in their entire system to eliminate meter readers, and to also determine quick usage, or for someone has a water leak, it would report back quickly. So it's a good thing for water systems. It's just been, the technology wasn't there, but I think it's getting there, and I believe Ward 2 is willing to go forward. But we have an ordinance and to do that, you have to set up repeater towers all across the Ward 2 water system, and according to our laws, every time you do those type of towers, you have to have all of these requirements, but they're really, it would be we need to waive some of these impacts fees or studies, not fees, but studies, so they can get these antenna towers on the certain things. Sam, do we need to read all these?
Probably be best to read it in the record so everybody knows what wells.
You want to
we're
read
talking
through them
about.
real quick?
Yeah, I got them numbered. It's 19.
All right.
And, they start at Arbor Walk Well and Tank, Artie Pearson Well, Ball Park Well, Bradford Well, Buddy Ellis Road Well, Burgess Well, Fairburn Well, Highway 190 Well, Highway 190 Tank, Jubin Crossing Well and Tank, Linda Road Tank, McClure Well, Melrose Well, Myers Well, Port Vincent Well, Stafford Well, Springfield Road Property, Sherry Lane off Jubin, Livingston, Highway 449 Tank.
All right, so I hope I explained that well. It's for these towers to be placed, so if everyone's in okay with
Waiver
it.
for
You did a pretty
government
good
entity.
job. You did pretty good. I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead, Mr. Mack.
I just want to say, if you take a look at the base, the concrete base of these towers, it's only like 4.5, 5 feet wide, or square. It's no need for, drainage study, school impact study, fire impact studies, and this is going to lower the cost and allow them to put these in a whole lot cheaper, so they can pass that, that cost on down to the customer. If we raise the price, then that's just going to be pushed down. It's going to
Correct.
cause water bills to get high.
All
So
right,
this
is there
is
a
good.
motion?
Yeah, I would like to make that motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Delat.
But I'd like to make a comment. No, it's okay. This active monitoring of your water, they've actually been doing this in Walker for a while.
Get them as well. by the
And,
way.
well, I wasn't trying to make a competition out of it, but
Well,
did
we
you
were
wanna
first, but
did you want to
that's
be
okay.
like, I'm not quite sure that's true. But
Yeah, I was on the board.
If you have like a leak, they'll actually do a comparison from like weeks and months back, and you don't even have to be much. Like, if your toilet runs constantly, they'll look at the time of day and what time it's running, and they'll call you and say, hey, you're using too much water. And, especially if you have a pipe burst in your front yard, they'll know right then. And it's actually really cool, and it'll save the individual and everyone a lot of money, so it's actually a good system.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm glad Walker could bring it to the parish.
Thank you, Mr. Garlinghouse. You're a good representative for the town of Walker, I will
I
say
have
that.
a comment.
We're a city.
I'm sorry, they're a city. That's right, they're a city now. I'm sorry, we had a motion, I think by Shane, second by Mr. Delat. Is there any more discussion?
Yes,
Aaron,
I have a
Sam?
question. I don't think we can waive a wetland impact study. That's a federal thing. We can't waive, can we waive that?
Yeah, we can.
I was going to say, you're correct when it comes to the Army Corps engineers, but what we're waiving here is the
We can.
wetland requirement within our ordinance.
correct.
So we do have the right to
Okay,
waive
okay,
that.
We can.
okay.
If they require it, we couldn't, but they're not asking
That's
us.
right.
All right, so we had a motion and a second.
Call for a vote.
Call for the vote on this one, Miss Sandy.
Mr. McMorris?
Yes.
Mr. Garlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Sandifer?
Yes.
Mr. Delat?
Yes.
All right, I believe that motion carried 7-0. Let's see. Item 24, introduction of ordinance. This is a regulation of telecommunication towers amending. Now, this one also is the same as addendum item A3. Mr. Talbert put this on here. It's a correction of agenda item number 24, introduce ordinance amend section 20-404, small wireless facilities in the right-of-way maximum height. Does anyone here to speak, know anything about this?
I know a little bit.
You want to
I
take
can
it
handle
up for Gary, or?
We wrote
or
an
defer?
ordinance, we modified our telecommunication ordinance a few weeks back, and we put a limit on the height 50 feet, I believe. We need to change that to 100 feet. So that's what this ordinance is going to do. We're just going to introduce this ordinance tonight, and we'll vote on it at the next meeting. We'll have the public hearing at the next meeting, but we're just changing the distance from 50 feet to 100 feet.
On the height?
On the height, yeah.
Okay, so this will be an introduction, and then if you have some questions, we'll have a public hearing at the next council meeting. And
That's
then
correct.
for the adoption. So
I'll second.
we got to read it by title, I believe. Miss Sandy?
Okay, this will be proposed ordinance 23-34. This is an ordinance to amend chapter 70, utilities, by amending article 7, small wireless facilities of section 70-404, Part A2, small wireless facilities in a row, maximum height, other requirements, to adjust the height of new, modified, or replaced poles located in a right-of-way of the Code of Ordinances of Livingston Parish. The public hearing will be held on September the 28th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Sandy. Is there a motion to introduce this at the next council meeting?
Shane made it.
Yeah.
I second.
Shane made the motion.
Yeah.
Mr. Girlinghouse seconded. You get that, Ms. Sandy? All right, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right, that eliminates the addendum item A3 and item 24. Item 25 is add to the priority list. Yes, I do. Add to the priority list for consideration Glenbrook, and this is in my district. You want to add it to the priority road list.
I make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Randy Gillette, seconded by Mr. Jeff Hard.
For consideration.
Oh, yeah, for consideration to be overlaid in the following coming year. That's, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Randy. And that motion, thank you, Mr. Jeff, that motion carried. Item B, Recreation District 7, District 3, Ms. Erin Sandifer. Did you want to make a?
I need a motion to accept Ryan Harris's resignation. He moved out of Livingston Parish.
I second it.
Motion by Ms. Sandifer, seconded by Mr. Delatte to accept Mr. Ryan Harris's resignation. All in favor say yes.
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 Do you have the letter or resignation?
You look in the pack, he resigned at the meeting,
Okay.
and so they sent
The
the
minutes?
minutes of the meeting,
Thank you.
yes.
Good with that?
Since he does live in the district, he's not allowed to be on the board.
Okay,
He has to resign.
yeah.
Do you want to make a replacement now? Or?
Yes, motion to appoint Ronnie Juno.
Motion
Second.
by Ms. Sandifer to appoint Ronnie Juno, seconded by Mr. Randy Delatte. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Is there any opposition to that? Well, I think the motion carries, so we're good.
I'm gonna wait for the vote on the screen.
All right, is that the vote for the
No,
resignation or for the new appointment?
it's the appointment.
That was both, okay.
Oh, okay.
We did two resolutions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Item 27, committee reports, Finance Committee.
No, nothing to report.
They haven't met yet, so no report. Great. Ordinance Committee, Mr. Mack, I don't think we've been able to get a chance to put anything together yet.
Yeah, no, nothing right now.
Well, we got election coming up, so
Right. We're gonna
I make a
a
motion
lot of
we
people are
adjourn.
focusing on a few different things right now. But look, the parish will be back to work after October. We'll be back to work.
You don't want to be controversial right now.
That's right. Item 28, Mr. Chris Moody, I
No,
don't
sir.
believe has any report.
Oh, ma'am. No,
Ladies
sir.
and gentlemen,
I make a motion we
is there,
adjourn.
Second.
Mr. McMorris?
Sorry.
I don't see the comments anymore.
You have the floor.
All right, so I just want to remind everybody, on September the 30th, we're having an expo for the Cohill Baptist Church. It's going to be held at Frank Sullivan High School. It's free to the public. It's going to be 600 pounds of fried catfish, jambalaya, pasta. It's free. Come out. Come enjoy yourself. Politicians, come out, enjoy yourself.
Get a vote.
We are looking for donations. If you want to give something for gifts to give out to the people that come there. So, we'll appreciate everybody that shows up. Thanks.
Anyone else? Mr. Hart?
Well, we got the Battle of I-12 going on right down the road. If anybody
we gotta
wants to
get outta
watch a
here.
good football game.
Oh,
Albany's playing Springfield
Albany
tonight
and
in Springfield.
Springfield.
Yep, I appreciate you getting through this meeting real quick.
y'all don't
Real
look,
quick.
when you have council members that all work together, I think a meeting can go fast. And
There
I
you
think
go.
that shows that,
There you go.
we can work together. So I would like to commend each one of y'all tonight for helping me make a short, speedy, efficient,
Make a motion we adjourn.
concise meeting.
Second.
Motion, Motion
I
to
did.
adjourn
I did.
by,
Well, whoever.
Whatever.
by Ms.
I did.
Doesn't matter.
Delatte,
We
second
don't
by
care.
Ms. Sandifer. All in favor say yes.
Yes. You can have it.
I hereby declare this meeting adjourned.